How's it going, guys? We are at Powder Canyon today in Rowland Heights. Just pulled up to the parking here. The trailhead is over there, so you just park on the street here. Quite a bit of uphill on this one. Some of the trails are a little hard to find, but we will get right to it, and I hope you enjoy this little ride today. Alright, so that is the entrance right there, and there's this first initial climb that you've got to do right here, or at least if you're starting from where I am here. Alright, still doing this first climb. It's pretty brutal, honestly, if you've never done it before. It's definitely pretty steep, so be ready to be sore pretty quick. Alright, we are approaching the first kind of initial climb checkpoint, if you will. Pretty crazy view already from up here. I would guess it's probably from the bottom there, probably around like a 500-600 foot climb already. So when you get to here, we're gonna actually go straight kind of towards these power lines here, not that way, so just keep going straight basically, and we'll continue on. All right, so we are just going to wrap around up here, and we have our first little downhill section coming up. That's pretty fun, but I'll see you when we get to the next part of the trail. It's a little windy, so sorry if it's not super clear, but coming up here there's a little dirt path to the right. Don't go up there, so we just go right in this little section here. It's pretty tight but really fun. It's getting more overgrown too. Gosh, I could just barely make that. If it wasn't obvious, I would definitely recommend some type of covering on your at least hands, maybe legs, maybe even face, but it's pretty overgrown here, but the trail is still pretty easy to see, so we're going to keep going up here, and this is the next kind of climb up to our next spot. Coming up here, we're going to go to the right. Just keep going up. Alright, we have made it to the second checkpoint, peak, whatever. It's crazy how far we get so fast. We were just over by the telephone poles over there. So the next part is going to be this, not little, it's actually pretty long downhill section. Kind of just seeing the distance. Unfortunately, we do have to climb back up that. So we're eventually going all the way up there, and we're kind of just looping all the way around. So pretty easy trail to follow, but there is a couple turns back there that can be a little confusing, so we'll continue on in just a second. All right, let's do this downhill section. It's pretty fun. It can go pretty fast, but there's a couple tight corners. That's so much fun. All right, and here's the next treacherous climb that we will be doing today. I guess some sections aren't as steep as that first one, but still a decent uphill. All right, we got a pretty steep climb coming up on this same kind of fire road here. So it gets a little steep, but there's a really fun downhill part coming up, so it's definitely worth it. All right, made it to the top here. So we're going to be going right over here, and it's a little bit of a climb, but definitely not as bad as that back there for sure. So yeah, we'll continue on up here, and we're almost at the super fun downhill part. We're approaching kind of the end of that climb there, and we're going to go right here, and this is not bad at all. This just kind of goes up to the left here and swings around, but not as steep as anything you would have been doing thus far, so not too bad. All right, so there's the end of that climb there, and not sure if you can see it in the camera just yet, but that hill going all the way down, it's a lot steeper in person for sure, but that's what we will be going down. You just kind of loop around here. There's also something that starts up there, but we're just going to take this, which is just going to shoot us basically all the way around. So there's still a little bit of climbing left, but a lot of downhill, which is the fun part, definitely. All right, and here we are at the steepest downhill section here. Again, I don't know how this is going to look on here, but it's pretty steep in person. I almost didn't do it the first time I came here, but just gotta put full faith in your bike pretty much. Oh my gosh, I think I got a bug in my at some point on there. I gotta start wearing goggles, but anyways, pretty fun downhill section there. And like I said, there was a lot of climbing in the beginning, but now we can just kind of cruise down the rest of this. Just real quick, you can go up this way. It's kind of cuts through this whole mountain here, and it makes it a little bit shorter of a ride, but there is some pretty steep climbs that you'll end up having to do at the end. So personally, I kind of just like taking this longer route. You get more downhill section for, you know, all the uphill you're doing. You kind of want to get good enough in return so it's worth it. Finally a little shade here. watch these corners here with people hiking. Not too many people out today though. I was gonna try and make it up here, but gotta cross over at some point. Oops. And the next downhill section is coming up. We'll kind of cross over to the other side of the trail through here. I would recommend at least scoping it out for a second. It's pretty straightforward, but there are a bunch of cacti right there, so you definitely do not want to enter that. But I usually just try and roll it right down the middle. You can go over that rock, honestly it might be better, but yeah, you just need a little bit of a run up. But if it's your first time here, I would probably recommend scoping it out for a second, especially if there's some loose rocks or something. Okay. Alright, yeah, it's not too bad, but there is cactus right there, so it's a little worrisome. We're gonna go through here. I think I'll put up my Strava map or something at the end, just so you can get an idea of the kind of horseshoe shape that we're going in. But for the most part, it's pretty easy to follow, especially after you've done it once or twice. So, wall ride there. Got this bridge coming up. We'll cross over. There's some stables and stuff over here. I don't know if there's a special name for it, but really not too many people out today though. Alright, we will be on this trail for a little bit. I think it's at least like a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles. So there is an extension you could take right here. I did that with a friend of mine, and it's definitely an extension because you kind of switch back up this whole mountain on the left, and it takes quite a while. There's a good amount of climbing, so I'd recommend honestly just staying on this main trail here. All right, we are going to just keep climbing this hill here. kind of the last big climb we have to do, so gonna kind of keep that in mind and don't have to put maximum effort, but just kind of get to the top as soon as you can. Keep going. Oh, this last climb is always the kicker here, because all your energy is kind of gone, or at least mine is. Just right up there, and then basically just downhill. Go down this last downhill section in just a second, but you'll notice that we are right back to that kind of downhill that we did at the top there, kind of at the beginning after the first climb, and we climbed up this guy next. So this trail is really just kind of one big kind of horseshoe. Again, I'll throw my Strava kind of tracking map at the end that kind of shows the shape of the trail so you get an idea, but it's pretty brutal to do a lot more climbing after all that, so we're just gonna go down. Alright, and this is kind of what I was talking about before. There's this last little climb here, which really isn't too bad. It doesn't go too high up. Or you can go straight here and then just go left kind of back onto the street where we kind of originally came from, where we parked. But I like to get every part of downhill as I can, so I'm just going to do this small climb. And again, it's really not too bad, especially because we just got a break from all that climbing. And here's this last little section here. Again, it's not too much, but alright guys, that concludes our ride at Powder Canyon here. Again, I'll try and throw up the Strava map or whatever just so you kind of get an idea of the trail, but that's about it guys. Have a good one.